All right. I think we are on. So to continue with this, I would like to discuss some vocabulary related to transportation and travel. Here we have a page from a textbook, which I've used before. Can everyone see it?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
excellent. We'll start with number one. Now for number one, there are 6 groups of words and there's 4 words in each group. What I would like you to do is look at the words and decide which one word out of the 4 words doesn't belong in that group of words. And if you're not sure about any of the words in here, that's okay, no stress. You can use Google to check it out or look in the dictionary, whatever. Some words have more than one meaning. And sometimes there can be a few possibilities, but there's one best answer that makes the word different from all of the other words. Let's do number one together, shall we? The first group of words is platform, check-in, departure lounge, and customs. Are there any words here that you're not familiar with in 1A?
Third one.
Departure.
Departure is go, start.
Yes, exactly. So when you start a travel or start a journey, that would be your departure. What does lounge mean? Have you ever heard that before, lounge?
Lounge.
You can rest.
Yes, exactly. A
Yes.
place where you can rest. Therefore, departure lounge is a place in an airport where you can rest before you leave. And it sounds kind of fancy when you say it like that, but if I show you this picture, you'll all know what I mean. Not actually fancy. That's the departure lounge in an airport. How about customs? What is customs?
Cross
A person.
process.
Custom.
Customs.
Check your
Check your passport.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so the place at borders, but usually typically we think about them in airports where they check your passport and your visa and so on.
yeah. Custom.
Customs.
Culture.
And check-in. What is check-in?
Like a book. Order. No, book.
In a hotel or
Check your ticket.
airport. Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I see what you mean, book, like you made your reservation. Yeah, yeah, that is correct. In this context, we would think about it as like an airport check-in. So where you show your ticket or where you buy your ticket even when you first arrive at the airport. That would be check-in. And platform, what is a platform?
You need to train a place wait the train arrived.
Exactly, a place where you wait for the train. So this would be a train platform. In an airport, we call it a gate. Gate. So we don't have airplane platforms, we have airplane gates. But airport gate. So which one do you think is the most different out of all of these?
Customs.
Why do you say customs, Yuna?
Platform.
Other 3 word is travel, travel, do.
That's true, but customs is also about travel because when you go to a different country, you must show your passport, right? So I think that customs kind of fits with the rest. Does anybody have a different opinion?
Platform.
Platform.
Platform. Why do you say platform?
I think this verb is a place, but another three verbs is about plan.
Airport.
You are absolutely 100% correct. I think platform is the best choice here because it's about trains, whereas the rest of them are about airplanes. So I would choose platform. Another possibility, I think, could be a check-in. I do think platform is the best or the most different choice. Check-in is also possible because check-in is typically a verb. In this case, it's being used as a noun. If typically when we use it as a noun, we say check-in counter. Because the person is usually standing behind like a tall desk, which is a counter.
Yes.
Counter.
So check-in is typically a verb. In this case, they're using it to mean check-in counter though. So if you wanted to say check-in and you said because it's a verb, I would accept that as an answer. But I do think platform is the best answer, number one. I'll let you do the rest of them in groups. Some of them are a little bit difficult. And again, some of them, there's a few possibilities, but there's always one like best one. I also want you to be prepared when we go over this together to explain why. So give your rationale like Yuna did, like Rennie did. Be prepared to tell me why the one you chose is the best choice.
Okay.
I'll make your groups now. I'll change them up a little bit from last time. Okay, so our first group will be Alice, Layla, Rennie, Michelle, Amy, and that's it. The second group will be Coco, June, and Lina. And the third group will be Yuna, Pauline, Paula, and Jihei. Is everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Excellent. And I'll give you 10 minutes, okay? Good luck, everyone. Remember, if you're not sure about a word, you can use a dictionary or you can use Google if you.
Max, you didn't send it us or email?
Yes, it should be in your email, but I will put it in the chat right now as well. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, so just in case you weren't able to check your email before class, I'll put it in the chat for you. Okay, so it should be in the chat. It's a picture file this time. That's how it turned out. Okay, excellent work. Let us review our answers, okay? For exercise B, our 4 choices were hand luggage, baggage, overhead locker, and suitcase. Which one do you think does not fit well with the others?
Overhead locker.
Overhead locker.
Why do you say overhead locker?
Because the other 3 verb is you can use hand
Mhm.
and they are a bag.
Exactly, yes. So hand luggage, often we just say luggage. Baggage and suitcase are all different types of bags that we bring when we travel. What is an overhead locker?
When we are in plane, we can sit our seat and up. Oh, look at.
Above us, maybe?
Out of the airplane.
Yes. So the
Yes.
place inside the airplane where we store our bags. And you all know this because, of course, you've all taken airplanes before. Oftentimes, we call it the overhead storage compartment. Some people say overhead locker. I think overhead storage is a little bit more common, and that's what it looks like. These are overhead lockers or overhead storage compartment. So I'll also type the second way we say that.
Mhm.
Overhead storage
Apartment.
compartment.
Compartment.
Compartment is like any small area where we can store
Ah,
or place something. C was really difficult, but there's one best answer, I think, for this one. Coco, what did you say?
Coco.
Anybody else?
Wing.
Yes, it was wing. How is wing different from the other ones?
Because the other 3 is about boat.
Yes,
yes.
wing is the long part of the plane that keeps it up. Now, I heard somebody say wing is on a bird, which is true, but it's also on an airplane. Of course, in case you weren't sure, the wing, oops. The wing is this part on an airplane.
Yes. Side.
What is a sail?
Sail.
You can buy boats
Wing.
or
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
sea.
So a sail is what pushes, the wind pushes it, pushes the boat, and it pushes the boat. So the big white there on the boat, that's a sail. And this type of boat we call a sailboat. How about mast? What is a mast? It's related to the
Mast.
sail.
Yes, sail. Cross sail.
Yes, it's the piece of wood that holds the sail up, or sometimes metal that holds the sail up. So the stick in the middle is the mast.
Yeah.
And cabin is what made this difficult, because cabin could be for a plane or a boat. However, because it can be for a boat, I would say that it fits with the other ones, whereas wing is definitely not on a boat, so it does not fit with the other ones. If you chose cabin here, I would hesitantly maybe agree with you if you could explain it well enough, but wing is best. How about D?
propeller.
Propeller.
Why do you say propeller? How is propeller?
Because the other three words is about a person.
Exactly. So
Oh,
all of the rest of them are people involved with transportation or traveling. Bus driver, of course, the guy that drives the bus. Flight attendant, the one that helps you on the airplane. And ticket inspector, the person on a train that looks at your ticket. Propeller would be the thing that moves a plane or moves a boat. You can, anything that moves a motor. I'll show you a propeller. Oh,
Sorry.
yes, Lena. I'll see you in a few minutes, okay?
Okay, bye.
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 So a propeller would be this one here.
Yes.
So I'll type this in quickly. I know we're almost at break time, so I'll try to go fast. Driver, flight attendant, and ticket inspector are people. And propeller is a machine on a plane or boat. The next one was also a tricky one because they're not very common words, but we have a barge, a ferry, a hovercraft, and a scooter.
Scooter.
Why do you say scooter, Rennie?
Because the other three words about the boat.
Yes. And scooter drives on the ground.
Yes.
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 Barge, a ferry, and a hovercraft are three different types of boats. A barge is a large boat that is used to move cargo, so it's used to move items or objects. Here is a picture of a barge.
Yes, very big.
You can see them sometimes in Lake Ontario. A ferry is a medium-sized boat that transport passengers to islands. So if you ever go to Toronto Island, you would be taking a ferry.
Yes.
If you've ever been to Hong Kong before, there's a lot of ferries there that go to the different parts of Hong Kong. And the last one is a hovercraft, not a very common type of boat, but it's a boat that has sort of a big propeller at the back, and it blows the air behind the boat, which causes the boat to move like that. And scooter has two meanings. Scooter can either be like a small motorcycle, like, whoops, scooter. Like, I guess this would be a scooter.
Mhm.
It's also like a type of skateboard for children where there's a little handlebar in the front. So it's a scooter as well. So scooter has two meanings. Usually you can guess from context which one people mean. If it's like a child and they say, I want to ride on my scooter, probably they mean this one. And if it's an older person and they say, I want to drive my scooter, they probably mean like a motorcycle.
Mhm.
I know scooters are very common in some parts of Asia. We don't see them very much in Toronto. When I was in
Yes.
Busan, I noticed a lot of scooters actually. A lot of Uber delivery or food delivery drivers.
Yes,
scooters.
or food delivery.
So that would be scooter, definitely. And the last one, we have passport, ticket, ticket office, and visa.
Ticket office. because this is a place.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's different. The three words.
Exactly. The other three words would be like documents,
Mhm.
papers, or books that you need when you travel, depending on where you go, I guess. So passport, obviously, passport. Ticket, which you need to get onto an airplane or a train or a bus. And visa, which you need when you go to some countries. I have some stamps in my passport, for example.
Mhm.
Those would be entry visas. So passport, ticket, and visa, all documents. And ticket office, the place where you buy a ticket. Whew. What do you think? Piece of cake, this vocabulary?
No,
Super hard.
super hard.
Some of the words are very uncommon, but they are useful to know for traveling. We'll try to put this vocabulary in this article a little bit later.
Mhm.
But first we'll look at number 2, which deals a little bit more with collocations and verb choices. And we'll do that after our 8-minute break, okay?
Okay.
I will also save this so that I can send it to you. And let me pause the recording again while we take our break. All right, so I hope everyone had a good break. Let's start. Let's start number 2. For number 2, we need to choose the correct verb to complete the phrases. Now, if you haven't heard these phrases before, it might be very difficult to do this, but I'll put you in 2 groups this time so you have more people to discuss your answer with. And I'd like for you to decide what you think is the best answer. Of course, we will go over the answers together after to check what they are. And we'll do 2A together as an example now. So for this, we have 2 choices of verbs that go best with the noun plane. And our choices are to board a plane or to mount a plane. Have you heard any of these before?
Maybe when we have to ride a plane, I no ride board.
Yes. Get onto a plane, essentially.
Mm.
So when you go inside of a plane and you're looking for your seat, we call that boarding a plane.
Yes.
Has anybody heard the verb mount before? Mount?
Mount. Is it related to mountain?
That's a good guess, but not necessarily. It's the verb we use when we talk about getting onto a horse or sometimes a bicycle. Any situation, and I'm sorry, this sounds a little bit strange, any situation where you need to put one leg on one side and the other leg on the other side, we call that mounting. It's best used for horses. So when you're riding on a horse, when you first go on top of the horse, you say, I am mounting the horse. So much that there's a group in Canada, an organization called the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And mounted in this case means they ride on horses. Yeah, so here's a picture. This is a guy mounting a horse. So when you first get onto a horse, we say mounting. Some people use it for bicycle or motorcycle. I think it's a little bit weird. I would just say get onto my bicycle or get onto my motorcycle. Hint, hint about question C. But mount is also possible. So for each of these, only one is correct. A few of them are difficult, like for example, C and F. The choices are almost the same, get onto and get into. But we use one with one of the choices and another one with another one of the choices. So whatever your choice is for C, you will have the opposite choice for F. And D, change and move trains. That's kind of a hard one, but I'll let you decide which one's best for that. Again, I'll put you into only 2 groups this time. And I see we have a new person joining us. Hello, Ai Jing Wu. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Excellent, welcome. Oh, whoops, I put too many people in the same group. Okay, so group 1 will have Michelle and Amy, Layla, Jihei, Alice, and Ai-Jing Wu. And the second group will have Yuna, Rennie, Pauline, Paula, Lena, June, and Coco. And Lena's not here, so I'll remove her from the group. As usual, I'll go between the 2 groups and check your progress and offer you advice as you work through this. Any questions before we start? Okay, good luck, everyone. Good job on this. You did it faster than I thought you would, so I closed the breakout rooms early. Question B, to or a passenger, lift or pick up a passenger?
Pick up.
Very good. What does that mean, pick up a passenger?
It's drive the car, take the somebody away the airplane. Yeah.
Oh.
It
Yeah.
could be. It doesn't need to be an airplane, though.
Oh, yes.
Could be
A
any.
place.
Good.
Takes car, another person. Yes.
Yeah, so for example, Alice needed to leave early today. She left while we were doing this question because she had to go pick up her son. And of course, Lena leaves early every day so she can pick up her son. So drive their son in their vehicles. Now, this one could be tricky because we have an idiom that has this same meaning, but the way we use the word is a little bit different. Give somebody a lift. This means to drive another person in your car or vehicle as well. But notice here, lift is not a verb. Lift here is a noun. We know that because there is an article before it, lift. So it would not be correct to say lift a passenger. You would say give a passenger a lift. And that would be an idiom with the same meaning. I remember asking this before a lot when I was younger. Hey mom, can you give me a lift to the concert? Hey mom, can you give me a lift to school this morning? Would be drive me somewhere, please. Or my friends or girlfriends that had cars. Hey, can you give me a lift downtown? Can you give me a lift to the party? Can you drive me? Then, ooh, somebody has problems with the police. It sounds like
It's my home.
Scarborough hardcore. The next one is C. We will do C and F together. Okay. So the first one is motorbike. Get onto or get into.
Get
On,
onto.
onto.
And F is car.
Okay.
So get onto or into a car.
Into.
Into car.
Okay. Okay. How about this one? If we don't say board a plane, we could use one of these get phrasal verbs as well. Get onto a plane or get into a plane?
Onto.
Yes.
Mm.
How about a bus? Do we get onto a bus or get into a bus?
Onto bus.
Onto.
Good. How about a truck? What do we say about truck?
Into.
Into. Yes. Van as well. How about, I mentioned we could say mount a horse, but we could also use one of these get phrasal verbs for horse as well. Get onto a horse or get into a horse?
Into.
Are you
On
sure?
To.
Onto, yes. Get
House?
into would mean like going inside of the horse.
Sorry, I heard the house.
House, yeah. House.
Yes.
Yes,
House.
you are
Yeah.
correct about that. How about bicycle?
Onto.
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 Onto, yes.
Mo-
So when we're talking about transportation, one more I forgot. Train.
Onto.
Onto.
Mhm. So when we're talking about transportation, house isn't transportation, so I'll get rid of it. Anything that is either outside or it's inside and it's big enough that we can stand up and walk around inside of it, then we say onto. If it's small and all we can do is sit down and it's inside, there's a roof over our heads, we can say into.
But it is also bus and plane, train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few other alternatives. You could say board a plane or board a bus as well. You could say mount a bicycle or mount a horse. But if you want to keep it simple, get onto a plane, get onto a horse. So get onto things that are outside or big enough that we can stand up and walk around. And get into things that we can only sit. And again, there's a few other possibilities. Like I said before, board a plane, board a train, mount a horse, mount a bicycle. How about D? And D was kind of a tricky one.
To change.
Change.
It is to change trains. To move trains sounds kind of unusual to me. It sounds like if you're trying to move a train, it sounds like you're trying to like push a train, which is impossible. They weigh a lot. What does it mean to change trains, though? There's another fancier word.
As,
Transfer.
Transfer, yeah.
Transfer.
Oh, nice spelling, Max.
Mhm.
Thank you, Jihei. Yes, so if you change trains, it means you are transferring to a different train. I think even on the TTC, it says when you go to Bloor-Yonge Station or St. George Station, it says, please change here for line 1. Please change trains here for line 1. So that would be changing trains, going to a different train, going a different direction.
teacher,
Yes. Yeah.
the trains need repair. Repair. You can say move the train.
Yes, there you go. That it would work in that situation, yes. So if a train is like stuck, we'd say we need to move this train. So that would be possible. It's not impossible to say moving trains, but typically if you're just taking a normal train voyage and there's no problems, we wouldn't need to use move trains.
Okay.
But yes, a very good point, Rennie. And the last one is E, either to cancel or to take away a flight.
Cancel.
Cancel.
Is cancel, yes. And that means that there is no airplane ride today, maybe because the weather is bad or the plane's in bad condition or whatever. What does take away mean?
You said remove.
Yeah, to like remove something. It would be, even though it sounds like it could be possible, remove the flight. It's not, and it sounds very unusual to say remove a flight. So same thing with take away a flight. It sounds unusual. And if a flight is canceled, the airplane journey cannot happen today. Has anybody ever taken Porter Airlines?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
My experience with that airline company is they cancel flights too much. Always the flight is canceled or delayed. So I hate Porter Airlines because of that. All right, so good work on this vocabulary. Again, I'll save the page so I can email it to you after. And what I would like you to do next is question number 3. So this is where you take the vocabulary we talked about in number 1 and the collocations we talked about in number 2 and try to fit them into this message. And they did the first one for us. What a terrible journey. The taxi was late picking us up, driving us. So we got to the stations 2 minutes before our train left. There was a queue at the so we went straight to the and got onto the train. Now I won't tell you those answers. I'll let you decide them with your group. There are 10 gaps, so I'll give you 10 minutes and then we will review the answers together, okay?
Mhm.
And I'll just change the group slightly from last time just to keep it interesting. Okay, so group 1 will be Yuna, Michelle, Amy, Jihei, June, Ai-Jing Wu. And group 2 will be Rennie, Pauline, Paula, Layla, and Coco. Good luck, everybody. All right, so the first question, the first gap is in the second sentence. There was a queue at the so we went straight to the two gaps.
Platform.
Platform is number 1.
I think
Okay, what's number 2 then?
number 2.
Number 2 is flat platform.
Well, number 1 could make sense. There could be a queue at the platform. What does queue mean?
Line up.
Along.
Lineup, yeah. So many people in line. There might be a line at the platform, sure. But it would be unusual to say there was a line at the platform, so we went straight to the platform. That wouldn't make sense because so means we did a different thing than the first thing. So I would use platform for number 2 because that's where you get onto the train. What could you say instead for number 1?
Ticket office.
I would go with ticket office here, I think.
Mm.
And I could hear some people think that maybe 3 was ticket office, but there's another possibility that maybe makes more sense. When we tried to buy a ticket from the we discovered that we were on the wrong train. So you're already inside the train. The train is already moving. And there's a man that is walking around looking at tickets. What would we call that man?
Ticket inspector.
Ticket inspector, yes. Might be better here. So when we tried to buy a ticket from the ticket inspector, we discovered that we were on the wrong train. We had to get off at the next station and trains.
Change trains.
Not move trains?
Change trains.
Yes, you were right. I'm tricking you. Good, change trains. Which is a nightmare when you're this is a hard one. When you're carrying 4 large
Suitcase or baggage.
I would go with suitcase and add an S at the end, suitcases. The reason why baggage or luggage does not work here, suitcase is countable, whereas luggage or baggage is not countable. So it would be unusual to say 4 large, uncountable. Maybe you could say 4 pieces of luggage or 4 pieces of baggage, but I would not say 4 baggages. So because these are uncountable, I would say suitcases is best. In the next paragraph, at the airport, we queued or we lined for an hour at So the first place you go when you go to an airport.
Check-in?
Yes, check-in.
Oh,
You're right.
Good job, June. You could also say the check-in counter or the check-in desk. Typically, again, we use check-in as a verb. It could be a noun, but it means the check-in counter or check-in desk, like I mentioned earlier.
It's check-in counter, yes.
So you waited at check-in to get your boarding pass, and then you waited in the for 2 hours.
Depart.
Good, yes, departure lounge. So after security, but before you get on the plane, you wait in the departure lounge. When they finally allowed us to the plane. So there's 2 answers for this one, I think, that could both work.
Board or get onto.
Yes, board or get onto. Board is a little bit more formal maybe, and get onto a little bit more casual. But both are okay there. When they finally allowed us to board the plane, I found that I had been given a window seat, even though I had asked for an aisle seat. Yeah, I prefer the aisle seat so you can go to the bathroom easier and you don't have to look out the window because I'm scared. And the pronunciation, by the way, of this word, aisle.
Aisle.
Yeah, the S is silent. Aisle.
Oh.
And that is the one away from the window, so near the middle of the plane, so you can walk up and down. And to cap it all means the like worst situation happened at the end. To cap it off, the plane sat on the runway for 50 minutes because of a technical problem. In the last paragraph, the end of the flight was just as bad. We landed with a huge bump. The above my seat flew open.
Overhead locker.
Good. Overhead locker, or like I said, overhead storage compartment. Flew open, and my own fell down and hit me in the shoulder. There's 3 possibilities here, I think. What would fall out of the overhead locker?
Baggage,
Baggage.
Baggage,
suitcase,
suitcase, or
log.
luggage, yes. Whew. Good. Piece of cake, right?
Yeah.
You did a good job on it regardless. Some of these were tricky, like 5. You had no way of knowing suitcase was countable and luggage or baggage were uncountable. Number 1, 2, and 3 were also a little bit difficult, but you had to use your best logic that these are all different places. So think about which one you go to first, which one second, and which one third. So I'll save this and send it to you just in case you're not taking notes. Save. And I will